Welcome back to the LEC playoffs. What a series we've had. Seriously, I was expecting to be back home eating pizza by now.
Yeah, after the second game I thought it was over.
Yeah.
But the reverse sweep is alive. The magic of Schalke from the miracle run last year started to bless them again with the smites and with these two last games.
Turns out whoever does a monologue can actually just curse European teams.
Did anyone monologue you?
It starts with Vedius.
Okay. Okay.
And Vedius is all about losing.
All right, well, unlike me, Schalke may be on the brink of winning a series, as they are very close. Like, they seem to have momentum in their favor. The question is, how does the draft shift? In my opinion, Alistair, permaban. That champ has got to go, because the thing is, if Mickey picks it, then Limit's going to answer with the Gragas, which he's clearly very confident on. And then if you leave it open, he's clearly going to lock it in. Like, it seems to me that this Alistair pick has just been so big for Schalke, and it gives them way too many playmaking tools.
Yeah, I feel like whoever blind picks the support first loses, right?
Yes.
That's just natural. And I feel like with the trifecta up of Alistair, Gragas, Rell, no matter what you blind pick, you're going to lose outright. You blind pick the Alistair, they can pick the Gragas. If they blind pick the Rell, they can pick the Alistair. So whoever blind picks support first loses, but if you take something out of that trifecta, like the Gragas, then all of a sudden Alistair is the strongest. So first picking Alistair could work. It can get countered in lane if they ban away Gragas and first pick Alistair. But I still think FLICKR is one of the strongest champs.
The Braum was also an effective answer coming out from the side of G2, so maybe they pivot back to something like that. The Orianna is the other really big pick that we've been seeing rising in popularity in this patch as well. So we're going to be jumping into draft. It is game 5. Let's get hype!
Okay, before we go into the complexities of pick and ban, I do want to remind people this is an upper bracket match. The loser of this will go into the lower bracket. They have another shot at making it into the LEC finals. G2 banning out the Thresh and the Orianna. Abbedagge getting some respect on the name as Senna and Tristana once again removed by Schalke.
Oh man, this is a cat jam, isn't it?
Well, this is a cat jam.
Looking at the bans, Alistair banned away, so now Rell first pick could be an option. Hecarim still open. You're looking at things like Lilia. Twisted Fate is
Lucian.
still up. Lucian is still up. So if Schalke ban away Hecarim here, they could look to first pick Lilia and then go Lucian on 2. Or they can first pick the Rell. Or they can take away the Kai'Sa. So G2 have options. Looks like they go for Lucian. Lilia on 2 or 3. Does Schalke want to deny the Lilia and then force Jankos on something like Nidalee, which is not bad. I think Jankos is one of the best Nidalees we've got. But Schalke are going to get Rell for sure. Are they going to take away the Lilia?
Instead, they will go for the Udyr for Gilius. They played that 3 times this series, only won on it in the last game, in game 4 of this best of 5. Now G2 can look towards that Lilia once again if they want, because it is still available. Can also get themselves a good support, you know. Alistair and Thresh removed, but you could always go for a Gragas into the Rell if you so desire.
Yeah, you could also go for Nidalee as well. If you want.
Zyra is also available.
We'll have to see. They could also just go for full bot lane and then...
Volibear. Okay, so at the very beginning of this series, we were talking about how last year, this was back when you were playing in Pro Caedrel, it was very much about jungle ganking meta, right? The set was super prevalent in just like looking for early ganks. We saw it from Selfmade yesterday. Volibear was one of those champions that could just like perma-gank a lane, and I feel like that this is already giving you a very powerful mid-jungle duo for G2.
You also have lots of flex potential in this, right? Gragas Volibear has so many flex options. This is probably going jungle Volibear and support Gragas, most likely. I doubt there'll be too much flexing, but Volibear is a champ. Obviously farms slower than the Udyr, but level 3 Volibear with the flash, with the red buff, does so much damage. And it acts as a very good frontline with the chem tank. It got buffs on 11.6, I believe it was, on his W to heal more in the jungle. And the smite buffs, the Gromp buffs is helping out a lot. Looks like Abbedagge is going to go into the Azir Lucian matchup. So both teams have picked up what we think is mid-support jungle. So we're looking at ADs again. Last time we saw this ADs were like Jinx, Sivir, lots of champions going into the 4-5s. And with Thresh being down, Helios is out. Senna's down, Senna comes out, Tristana's gone. We're looking at Kai'Sa, we're looking at Xayah, we're looking at Jhin, Sivir, and Jinx. The 5 AD carries which have been prevalent in this series. And Vayne. Yep. Good correction there. Vayne.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Okay,
well, there it goes. So that means I think Schalke want Kai'Sa. Vayne ban away suggests to me they want to pick Kai'Sa, so I'm expecting G2 to perhaps take that away. And then Xayah is the next strongest, so Schalke could take away something like the Jhin, and then go for the Xayah themselves. Jhin Gragas doesn't sound super strong to me. Maybe Kalista is something that Schalke could opt into as well if they want to try and counter.
Is there a world where they put the Lucian bot? Is there a world they do Lucian Gragas bot?
No, there's no world.
You think there's no world?
I think there's no world.
Okay, I mean, like, it's not unreasonable, but there's always that possibility of a flex. I don't think that it is the strongest, especially with how low range he is, but I could see a Gragas Lucian lane just being very strong in the straight up 2 versus 2.
Yeah.
But regardless, we will go with the assumption that the Lucian is in the mid lane for now. Jhin now being taken off the board, and the Darius ban. This does suggest that G2 is looking at a blind pick Sion, but nah, is still up and available, and it was something that they went for in game 1.
G2 has a small problem here. If they blind pick Sion, they have a big front line, but they only have AD carry damage on their carries. So if Schalke pick up the Xayah here, I'm not really sure what Rekkles has left. Maybe he goes for the Sivir, and then you're running back the Sivir Lucian Sion comp again, which didn't really succeed for you too much. I think this double AD carry composition doesn't work so well against things like Udyr, but that's a Jinx. So that means Xayah's up, you could opt into it, but Neon wants to run it back. I really like Schalke's comp just because of the amount of scaling it has. Because these games in the series have been going late, so the adaptation is good, but G2 have a lot of frontline to deny it, but that's a Seraphine.
Okay.
It's a Seraphine bot. That does seem to be where it's going. Yeah, that's where it's
Seraphine,
going.
Gragas, Sion top, and then...
This damage feels so low from G2.
It is low, but I like the pivot. If they went double AD carry, like Xayah Lucian with a full frontline comp, the enemy team could just go a little bit tanky. Lots of valuation in the armor items. The Seraphine is a really good pickup with the Lucian, but it's all on Caps now. Caps is the main damage source for his team.
And look at this, Schalke now have options in the top lane. They can go Aatrox if they want to put BrokenBlade on a Comfort. They can also go for the Gnar if they want a little bit more engage, and they're going to stick with Comfort. Remember that during the regular season, when BrokenBlade got his hands on this champion, he demolished G2 Esports with it, and they're sticking to their style. They have engaged support, they have really long-range carries in Jinx and Azir. They also have a carry in the top side of the map. I love Schalke's comp. I think that it fits the style that they found a lot of success with. I think it has really good scaling, and I think G2, it's all or nothing on Caps. If they don't get Caps ahead, I think G2 are going to really struggle to win out this game.
Alternatively, I kind of like G2's comp just because, yes, you've got a lot of pressure on the Lucian, but the Seraphine's going to keep your team alive for such a long time. But like you said, it's all kind of on Caps, essentially. Seraphine, if she does build towards the Moonstone, then she is a supportive champion, and it's all on Caps. And I think that against the range that Schalke has, when you're playing Lucian into Azir, Jinx, if you are falling behind or you're at least even at 30 minutes, it's so hard to team fight.
The one thing I will say is that I always forget how insane Seraphine's engage is, just because of her ultimate. And then a Volibear, Gragas, Sion. Like, Schalke had issues getting on top of the Azir last game. G2 will not this game.
Schalke's carries are mobile, right? You only have an Azir dash and you're relying on flashes a lot. So if Sion can land the knock-up and then Volibear can land the stun, there's a lot of chain CC, the Seraphine follow-up, the Sion Q, the Gragas flash body
There's
slam.
a lot of CC.
So there's a lot of CC on G2's comp, a lot of healing, a lot of shielding, and Caps on Lucian. So that's what you're looking at if you're looking at G2. Alternatively, Schalke, you're looking at the range, you're looking at the scaling, and you're looking at the Aatrox.
It's gonna be a banger!
It is. I can't believe we got all the way to Game 5. G2 going 2-0 up. Let's see if the reverse sweep is real.
Hi guys, before we jump onto the Rift, I just want to follow up with Dylan Falco here. You brought G2 to Game 5. They finally banned the Darius. You have good scaling options here, but tell me about the game plan for Schalke not to fall too far behind and take it in Game 5.
I think this game, G2's mid-jungle especially are very, very strong. I think Volibear can force a lot of stuff level 3, level 4, and Lucian is probably going to be winning the lane. So I think it's really important that we just survive this mid-jungle early, and then I think we'll probably win later in the game.
All right, mid-jungle focus. Back to you guys for Game 5.
Yeah, it's definitely a mid-jungle focus. I have to agree with Dylan there. And not only is it mid-jungle focus, but look at Jankos' masteries. He's gone for the Predator. So no, he doesn't have the PTA. He isn't going to win out the 1v1s, but the Predator suggests to me that he's looking for early ganks, and he's going to start on the top side of the map, path towards the bot side, whereas Udyr is pathing top. So
that's a Caedrel playstyle right there. Just permagank, run Predator, just get
it.
boots. Yeah, flip it. That's the way. Can we kill him mid? Oh, we'll give it a go anyway. Definitely going to be keeping an eye on Jankos.
If you die, it's just supportive.
And again, for Schalke, and then for Schalke, I feel that it's going to be slow. We've talked about it. when we look at how Schalke have played all split long, it has been about like weathering the storm in the early game, trying to stay even, not being too over-aggressive, and then going for these fights later on. A lot of the aggression comes from Limit, roaming around the map in the early game, and I'm not sure if he will be roaming as much when playing with Neon on this Jinx, but we'll have to keep an eye on because we know that he loves to get involved and loves to try and make plays in the early game.
Yeah, and we talked about what Schalke's win conditions are, what they need to draft in order to win these games or stand a chance against the likes of G2. We talked about a winning side lane for BrokenBlade so he can collapse first in mid, a scaling mage mid for Abbedagge, some engage on support and lots of scaling for the AD carry of Neon. And I think they've checked the majority of those boxes. Gilius' Udyr last game was pretty good. He did win the early jungle matchup, and in this game he will win the jungle matchup if he can keep farming. And Jankos doesn't get any plays off, but it looks like Abbedagge is trading really hard into mid. Caps and Abbedagge trading aggressively. Both have TP, and they both have the Corrupting Potion.
Yeah, that Corrupting Potion just stacking up there for Caps. We're getting back to about half HP. Still has 1 stack remaining. Jankos working his way down towards the bottom lane. There is a ward here that's been pinged out by G2. Jankos doesn't have a sweeper.
He's spotted.
Neon and Limit stepping back, and it should be an easy enough escape. Limit just remounts and walks himself away.
And this is the thing with ganking junglers. Jankos shows on a ward, look at Gilius. He's cleared his whole jungle. He's going to go towards the top crab. He can start impacting top as BrokenBlade gets aggressive onto Wunder. Yeah, feels like Schalke's winning all their lanes, and now going back to my point, Jankos has all his bot camps up, whereas Gilius has finished his full clear. So you can see the difference in the junglers. Full clear jungler versus a ganking jungler. If the ganks don't work out, you exponentially fall behind, because by the time Gilius bases, he'll clear his bot camps, and Jankos wouldn't have even based by that time. So you just keep falling further and further behind. And Schalke, the last time they had this kind of topside control, they went for a dive.
And look at the mid lane as well. You can see 4 minions to 3. This wave is slow pushing towards Abbedagge, which means that Caps is forced to TP. That means the potential counter TP up towards top side, as Gilius is now threatening the dive that you were just talking about. Jungler on the bot side of the map. There's little that Wunder can do. It's a 1v2 in this situation.
Abbedagge could TP in. Caps doesn't have the TP to match it, but this is a bit of a risky dive in the early game. You could die to the Sion passive, but there could be a dive in mid. Abbedagge stayed way too long. He's losing out so much on the lane phase from getting his base cancelled. He's going to get it cancelled again.
Yeah, you just bring the Sky Splitter down there. It stops his recall, and now Abbedagge has to back away. He loses 6 minions underneath that tower. Limit trading with Rekkles here in the bottom side of the map. First time we've seen Rekkles play the Seraphine, by the way. Of course, he isn't averse to playing some of these more utility champs in the bottom lane.
I remember his Janna bot lane too.
The Jannas, the Garen Yumis.
Of course, he did play Syndra at bot lane, I believe.
Jankos spotted again.
Going in, double flash, double knock up. The stun lands and first blood to Rekkles, but here comes the TP. BrokenBlade going to join the fray. Infernal Chain splashed away there by Rekkles. Does have the stage presence, looking for that W. Doesn't quite have the heal in time for Jankos. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, there's another trade as Caps tries to fight off Abbedagge. Neon flashes away down towards the bottom side. Caps in a really good position here. Abbedagge is going to have to go a long way round. Limit is on his way as well, though. So if Caps oversteps, Limit will be there in time.
Can we look top lane though? I think BrokenBlade's losing so much for this. Although it's a 1-for-1, he loses around 2 to 3 waves. Looks like Wunder won't go for the plate. He's just going to get some vision with the ward he has. I think he has 2 wards. He can start putting some deep vision, and Wunder's going to keep proxying these waves. So although it's a 1-for-1 and Schalke managed to match the play on the engage from G2, I think they just lose on the top side of the map.
Yeah, and I think that this is a big deal for Wunder as well. The earlier he can get that armor, the easier this matchup is going to become. The question is, will it be more beneficial in the long term for Schalke? Because they did get the kill onto Neon, and while Rekkles getting a kill is great, I'm a lot more scared of a Jinx getting early kills than I am of the Seraphine, because you're setting up for that hyper carry potential later on into the game. Now, both supports roaming to mid, but it looks like not a huge amount is going to come off the back of it.
Yeah. Neon picked up the Berserker Greaves.
It is the Moonstone newer Seraphine as well, we'll just point that out. So we see the Vandal Glass Mirror already picked up, so much more utility.
It really is
damage.
All the damage coming out from Caps.
Here comes Jankos, looking for the chase here onto Gilius. Sky Splitter coming down as well, and Gilius will flash away from the Thundering Roar.
Yeah, good flash from Gilius if he gets stunned up there. I think he might fall with the chain CC coming out from Mikyx as well, and a burst from Caps on this early game Lucian. So, BrokenBlade back in the top side. Should win out on this matchup. Aatrox does counter Sion just because of the pure point that Sion can't actually out-damage Aatrox's healing the later the game goes. Yes, he can sort of do some trades in the early game, but the later the game goes, the more healing the Aatrox will get from his ultimate especially, and then the Sion just doesn't have enough to deal with it. He has the Bramble Vest early to deny the healing, but Abbedagge is really struggling in this mid lane.
Cowlin coming out, just dodged away by Abbedagge there. He is 15 CS behind on this Azir already. Caps farming at about And 9 a minute or so. Mikyx forced down towards the bottom side of this. Jankos coming in. Thundering Smash available. They know Gilius has no flash. Limit going to jump in here, but Caps is there in time. Jankos gets the smite down, and that's the scuttlecraft for him. Caps trading here as Abbedagge tries to join the fight, but he's got no mana. He's got no way of getting into this fight, really, as Limit has to flash the wall, and G2 gain control of the bottom side river.
That fight was pretty interesting because it was divided, as we see more trading up towards the top side, but Rekkles and Mikyx actually decided to focus on Gilius and Neon, while Caps and Jankos focused on Limit. And because the focus was divided, G2 didn't actually have enough damage anywhere to secure themselves a kill, which means that Schalke, the worst that they had to spend was the flash from Limit, but ultimately they did not get the Scuttle Crab, and because they did not get that, because Abbedagge was chunked out low, they're also going to lose the first Drake of the game.
Yeah, you have to question the decision-making in a sense where Abbedagge was under his tower, no mana, no health, and Caps had the mid push, so as long as the fight that goes on, Caps always collapse first, and I think that Abbedagge has been struggling this game. Ever since he got his back cancelled by Caps the first time when he TP'd back, and then Jankos came and cancelled it the second time, he lost around a wave and a half, 2 waves for that, and it's just been exponentially growing to the point where Caps is winning out in this mid matchup. Abbedagge did just hit 6 now, he will only be around 10 CS down, but getting that Lucian ahead of your counterpart early game is crucial in this team composition.
And we are seeing that comparison still between the farming jungler and the ganking jungler. Jankos getting himself an objective is only level 5. Gilius walked into his blue side jungle, took away the blue, took away the grump, has a level advantage, but the question is, how does he then utilize that level lead, that XP lead, that gold lead to actually influence the map for Schalke?
So I just want to quickly illustrate, because Caedrel's talked so much about ganking junglers and farming junglers. So all of this top side was just cleared, and now look, all of his camps in top and bot are alive, to the point at which his bot lane can even take the Gromp. Gilius has so much to clear because of how fast he goes through that jungle, and while G2 is off to an early game gold lead, the jungle gap is going to continue to grow. This is why we saw the meta shift last year. This is why the LCK found so much success with champions like Nidalee, and Europe was actually quite slow to adapt, and we struggled at Worlds because of it. So now pivoting back to this style, Jankos has to find more successful ganks. He has to keep building these leads for his team, otherwise Gilius can run away with the game.
And that's the key thing, right? He needs to find ganks. And if it's not a gank, try and find a neutral objective. Bring your team to the play while the farming jungler is kind of clearing his camps. Maybe you can force someone out, force a flash, and then bring your teammate on that lane to the objective. You can see Jankos hovering around the top side right now. He has the ultimate. He might want to start up the Herald because Mikyx is around, but forcing something is what he needs to do. And he's going to start up the Herald. Gilius on the bot side of the map, and Mikyx is hovering around. So I think G2 will get this for free. Can Schalke cross-map anything? Because this Herald going mid, I think it will go there to give Caps the most amount of gold possible and to chunk out the mid tower for later on, because clearing out the mid tier 1 is the most important tower in the game in the early stages.
For the moment, Jankos just doing both the Scuttle and her mother as he takes the Rift Herald. Has already got that Ocean Dragon earlier on. And the thing about Rift Herald is it is funneling gold into your lanes as well, right? We talk about ganking as one of those key ways to get your lanes ahead. Well, Rift Herald gets them plates, which gets them gold, and 2 plates is about 360 gold, so that's about a kill's worth of capital in the pocket of Lucian.
But it also denies it from Schalke, right? Which is one of the other big things, because Schalke would love to funnel all that money into BrokenBlade or into Neon and Limit, and if they had it, they could have set up that 3-man wave onto bot. What's Seraphine going to do to stop that huge wave coming? She could definitely get dived, so by denying that from Schalke, it also slows down the ability for them to get to their late game even quicker.
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to Herald plays, you can calculate the amount of like present gold and experience that people lose in general, but taking it away from the enemy team and getting it to yourselves, either it's denying them getting the mid tower or snowballing the game if they're ahead. If you're ahead as a team and you want to get Herald, but the enemy team takes it, it slows down your snowball potential. Despite losing amount of gold in the actual present state of the game, you will slowly regain it and slow down their siege. But G2 actually didn't lose anything for this Herald. They didn't actually have to move their bot lane top side, so it's just a net gain for them, right? When they use this Herald mid or bot, they'll get a lot of gold onto one of their carries, but I expect this to go mid and bring G2's bot lane from bot lane to mid so they can start doing it as a 4-man and actually get more plates in just a couple.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they just want to try and funnel more gold into Caps. I mean, by taking down that mid tower, already sieging against an Azir is very difficult, but when you then funnel even more, when you funnel more money into Caps on the Lucian, then you only better set him up for success. So that's what I expect to happen for G2 right now. Things are rather neutral. Caps just getting a little bit of vision. We can see that Jankos now resetting back onto the map. Same for Gilius as he clears his bot side and Jankos clears his top.
But top lane tower has 3 plates, so instead of using it mid, Jankos could use it top to crack out a whole tower instead of just getting a couple of plates for his carry, and you have to weigh up the differences in the gold. Do you want the gold to go to your frontliner and get a full tower so you get net more gold in the early stages of the game, or do you just go for the mid tower just to give the gold to Caps? So we'll have to see how Jankos approaches this. But Gilius, on the bot side of the map, is a level up on Jankos, has full bot side control, and Schalke need to cross-map something. If Jankos runs top and pops Herald, or he runs mid and pops Herald, what can Schalke do? Can they dive bot? Can they start TPing in? 5-man bot? Something like this.
Well, Gilius is waiting to see perhaps if Rekkles and Mikyx move their way up towards this mid lane. Jankos is on the top side of this wave as well. You can see Rekkles coming up. Jankos gonna step forward now. As the Stormbringer can look to dive underneath this tower. Thundering Smash gets the stun. There's a Sky Splitter Stormbringer combo. He's knocked back, but Abbedagge is done. The Culling finds its mark, and now Caps is the target. BrokenBlade going in with World Ender, and Caps really has nowhere to go. Infernal Chains, he dashes away from it, but is that gonna be enough? Still has the blast going. Meanwhile, in your picture-in-picture, you can see the supports in a battle to the death as we see Caps fall off towards the top side, and Limit will get away from Mikyx on the bottom.
Herald used though, looks like they're gonna put it mid-tower. Caps won't get the golds for it, but chunking out the mid-tower is much better than chunking out the top tower. So G2, although they traded 1 for 1, Abbedagge loses more gold, right? He loses the wave. Yep. Gilius is the one who picks it up, and you want the gold to go to your carry. So although G2 went 1 for 1 in this play, I would still favor them in this play because Caps was the one who got the kill.
So the other big thing about this play was that Caps did get a kill, and he's now got the Sheen. And as the Drake is now up and alive, you can see that the bot lane of G2 has control over the river. Notice that Jankos is already moving in. Caps not choosing to use his teleport, which means that they will lose mid-prio. But for now, G2 have control over the river. The problem is Wunder's going back to top. Yep. BrokenBlade is making his way down towards bot.
Jankos no flash, Caps no flash, Jankos no ult, Caps no ult. It looks like G2 might have to give this one up, but remember the power of the Encore. Rekkles in position behind Jankos. BrokenBlade's here looking to line it up. The Encore just short of Limit as he flashes away. Caps is off towards the top side of the fight, and it's a 5v4.
Here comes Wunder
of Schalke right now. Wunder going in, Jankos there as well. You can see Wunder coming in with the unstoppable onslaught, and that's already 1 kill. Limit's down, and now the numbers switch in favor of G2. Mikyx with a great flank position as they look for more damage here. Mikyx healed up with the Moonstone, able to be kept alive. The Sidmeg and Death Rocket goes wide, but Abbedagge will get the kill in the end. Wunder looking for Gilius underneath the tower, can't quite get him. In the end, a 2-for-1 trade in favor of G2.
Yeah, but G2 end up walking away with the Drake, and they should be able to get the mid turret off the back of it as well. So there were question marks around, would they be able to get these early game leads? They're constantly going for skirmishes. Jankos is willing to dive towers, and they're taking these fights, and Mikyx is definitely stepping up in this game. The ultimate does not quite connect onto Limit, but they do get his flasher, and then just keep your eyes on Mikyx and follow him in this engage. Flash over onto the Azir, and then his ultimate actually separates Limit from his team, and that was the goal there, to be able to get that initial pick so that the rest of the fight can follow through.
Yeah, it was a number advantage because BrokenBlade was there first, but Wunder identified that BrokenBlade was in the fight, ran down the river, ulted down, joined the fight around the same time, but Mikyx was definitely the one to clutch that fight. Cheeky little side step there to dodge the Jinx rocket, does end up dying in the end, but Schalke, they lose the fight, they lose a couple members, and they lose almost all of their flashes, so it's going to be really difficult for them to contest the next dragon coming up soon. They lost their mid tower, so G2 have full control of the game. I really like what G2 have done here, put their bot lane mid so they can push out the waves against Abbedagge, and Caps can start getting on these side lanes.
But again, Schalke wants to just scale. They're at a 2k gold deficit right now, but that's not that bad. Yep. You know, as long if for the next 10 minutes they can maintain this deficit, then they're going to be looking pretty good. The question is, can they maintain the position that they're in? Because you can see that G2 clearly setting up for a top side play. Them now moving Caps into a side lane. He has a level advantage over Abbedagge. The Essence Reaver is already done with a pickaxe on top of it. So as much as I would love to say that it's easy to, in the classic solo queue fashion, stall, we win late, G2 may very well not give them the opportunity to stall out.
Schalke, we're looking for a play here though, but the problem is I think they're going to lose their top tier 1 as well. Yes, they are scaling, but Wunder's proxying waves, taking towers. This Sion is going to be really beefy the later the game goes. And Schalke looks like they're just playing to catch waves right now. They were looking for a pick, but it looks like they're on the defensive.
And as much as we talk about Caps as the carry for this team, as the key damage source, you have to remember, like, Rekkles does have damage. He's got Staff of Flowing Water on its way. He's already completed the Moonstone. A Staff combination with a Volibear. Volibear scales very well with AP as we look to him trading here with Abbedagge and Gilius, but Staff of Flowing Water Moonstone with a Volibear is only going to buff up his damage. We've seen how much a Volibear can do in some of these late game fights. Just look back to Fnatic versus G2, where Bwipo snapped Rekkles' neck in one of the late game team fights.
Yeah, the crucial thing here though is the Volibear's full tank without a damaging Runestone, right? He doesn't have the PTA, it's just a Predator full tank Volibear, so he will be running out
so far.
I don't think you can change his Runestone at this point of the game.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we did see Selfmade build Sonya's second item, remember? So
and Divine Sunder. Wunder. But yeah, he's already
true.
bought his
That was
Mythic.
true. Yeah,
He already bought his Mythic, so I think Jankos will go full tank here, and Caps is the damage dealer. So Caps on a side lane. The whole point of this stage of the game here is who controls bot lane, right? If G2 can push in mid and move down towards bot, that means Caps can push and start hitting this tier 1. But Schalke put their bot lane into Caps so they can push the wave in first to negate the play. So the game's in a bit of a stalemate right now. Yes, G2 are ahead, but you can see what the objective on the map is. It's this bot lane tier 1, but you could also just base and go towards the Herald. We'll see how G2 approaches the game stage.
Also a Cloud Drake in only a minute and a half. We are on towards that Cloud Soul. It would be about 23 minutes or so for G2 if they're able to collect the next couple of dragons. So very quickly on the horizon here. Caps going to get the push once again. Can we just have a look at where we are in terms of gold observers? I expect Caps to be in a pretty strong position. 6,200. Actually only the second highest in the game. Oh, in fact, the third highest. Wunder has more, and Rekkles has more gold than Caps right now.
Well, a part of that is because Wunder was able to get pretty much a full tower in top lane.
Yeah.
And Rekkles is also sitting at 1 kill and 1 assist, and I actually think that that is the difference in the gold between them, with that slight CS advantage that he does have as well. So yeah, right now, even though Caps doesn't have the highest amount of gold on his team, he is very strong. Wow, actually, the full build already come out from Rekkles.
Yeah.
And we're only 17 minutes into the game.
Not full build, he needs a Chemtech.
No, he's full build. He's full build.
I would love a Putrefy. I was even actually going to say here, maybe skip Staff and go straight towards Chemtech's Putrefy, because who else's AP are you buffing up in these fights?
But I mean, I agree.
But I think the key thing is when you're looking at items, you're looking at timings as well. So item spikes, the Lucian on 2 items, the Seraphine with these 2 items, the Sion's already beefy. So this is the point in the game where G2 are their strongest,
yes.
Especially when Caps finishes those components into the second item, which I presume is probably a Kraken Slayer or the Gale Force. When you have these items, this is when G2's online. This is when Schalke really need to respect it and play defensive and wait for the 3 or 4 item mark. That's when their carries will start to take over.
The Emperor's treasure trove is empty right now. He does not even have a fully completed item yet, and as Caedrel says, Schalke just want to avoid fighting. And to be fair, so far in this series, they've done a good job of it. They found great fights. I think that they've showcased that they understand their win conditions. It's just about not falling prey to the aggression of G2, finding those good late game fights. Oh! And making plays like that. Clutch steal comes out from Neon.
I hate to see it. Did Neon even have vision when he did that?
Well, they had a ward.
I don't think they did. I don't think they did.
Oh my, that's going to slow down the Cloud Soul for G2 until at least around 30 minutes in the game, which is pretty big when you're considering things like the Lucian and the Volibear jumping in. The Cloud Soul and the base movement speed will help them out a lot. They did not have vision, I think. They did. The Scry's Bloom, and then he fires the rocket. Boom. Steals away the dragon. Jankos' smites. Yeah, a bit questionable.
Yeah.
But
Well, the Super Mega Death Rocket does a ton of damage to objectives as Limit is caught out, uses the knockup to try and get away. Sky Splitter goes wild, but there is the explosive cast. Next on the menu is Gilius, should be able to walk his way away. The Encore just a little bit wide as G2 are perhaps playing off the wrong hymn sheet right there, but with the Rift Herald charging in, G2 are looking to up the tempo of this matchup.
But this was the bot lane tower that you talked about earlier, Caedrel. They're looking for another pick.
Beat drop,
Dead, I think.
Stage Presence Ignite, Gilius is
the
ticking,
shields.
but the turtle stance saves him. However, Abbedagge is next on the menu. It puts down the Emperor's Divide to keep himself alive.
yeah, flash from Mikyx doesn't land the body slam. Abbedagge does save the flash in the end, and Gilius gets out alive. So Schalke end up losing 2 towers on the bot side, and they end up losing Limit. So what do they get on the other side of the map for it? BrokenBlade's pushing in waves. Yes, he's going to deny some creeps from Wunder, but Wunder doesn't really care. All those creeps are going to do is give him more Ruby Crystals, and I think he's got more than enough right now against the items that Schalke have. Wunder fighting against Limit here. Limit no flash.
Limit going to jump away, but the unstoppable onslaught. Where's Neon? He has no flash, he has no cleanse, he has no way of getting away. Wunder gets the kill. Neon slain in the mid lane, and now G2 just making this game tick a little bit quicker, seem to be catching Schalke out.
Yeah, they started off by using the Herald in the bot lane. There was nothing for them to cross map on the top side, and they couldn't really threaten mids because Wunder had actually rotated from top into mid lane to catch the wave. So Schalke were just sort of left to awkwardly stand around and watch as their bot tower fell. They then got into a fight. They then find themselves in another fight in mid, and this is exactly what we said they needed to avoid. Just accept that you're going to have to lose some of these objectives because right now G2's at their strongest, but it seems that they're getting caught up in some of these engagements.
But that's the key thing, right? That's why G2 is the best team in Europe right now. They force you into losing plays, and no matter what you decide, whether it's take the fight, defend, or even try to cross-map, you're always losing out. So really good decision-making from G2 with the Herald, using their tempo advantage in bot side, start pushing this lead forwards. They're around 3,500 gold up right now, and with this composition, when Caps finishes that second item, that's when they're really online at 20 minutes in the game, and I think there's going to be a lot of Baron contesting here around the Vision, but the Dragon's in 2 minutes, but I'm expecting teams to play towards the top side for now.
What I think is really fascinating is when you look at these drafts, you know, I said it myself, I was more of a fan of Schalke's comp because it seemed more straightforward. It was easier to play. There was significantly less risk associated. But G2's comp, because of how much early potential playmaking it has, its ability to snowball, it can be strong, but the level of execution is what's so important. And if you mess up, you're in danger, which is why often teams avoid it. But G2 is not that type of team, and you can see when you play at that level, when you're able to execute well, how quickly you can get these leads and how effectively you can snowball off of them.
Yeah, we'll see how G2 want to continue snowballing this game. Looks like they're contesting this brush here, which is a very good line of defense. The ultimate comes out, doesn't do too much, but Neon has no flash, so it's so hard for him to even be on the same screen as anyone of G2. Caps takes him out, but look at Jankos on the side. He can disable the tower.
Encore straight in as well, but there's the TP immediately from BrokenBlade. Limit going in with the Magnet Storm, and they're looking for the damage. You can see everyone gets in. Here comes Aatrox. G2, you've been in this spot before, and the Aatrox lands, and the Emperor finds his victims. A double for Neon, a double for BrokenBlade, and Wunder is thunder. It's Schalke with the ace.
At the flick of a switch, Limit pulls the trigger, gets the engaged TP from BrokenBlade, gets the reset. Is it BrokenBlade or is it the Shy? Abbedagge gets the knockback, Neon gets a triple kill, and that's going to be Baron for Schalke.
Excellently played from Schalke. That was the fights that they were looking for, and that was the smallest window that they did need. Just as I was talking about how this composition from G2 requires good execution. The moment you make that mistake, it is Schalke that capitalizes. Here we can see G2 sieging onto the tower. They get the TP out. At this point they want to disengage, but Limit does not let them. Lands the ultimate onto 4, grouping them all up. Even though the ultimate does come through from Rekkles, it's not enough. Neon is safely positioned.
Abbedagge,
and then Abbedagge.
3 members.
This is why he's named after FLICKR, or is FLICKR perhaps named after him after performances like this?
But after that, I think FLICKR's named after him. Such a clutch play from so many players. Limit with the engage, BrokenBlade hitting all these members, Jinx Rocket hits everyone, and then Abbedagge at the end seals the deal. Nail in the coffin for G2, you would say, because now Schalke with this late game team comp is even against G2. They have the Baron, and there's so much gold for them to collect on the map. There's still a mid-tier one, there's still a bot-tier one, but we're going to keep our eyes on what they do now, because the Dragon's up, and Schalke want to contest it. BrokenBlade's popped the ult, he's going in, he has the flash.
This could have been the sole possibility for G2, but of course, we saw the Super Mega Death Rocket snipe away the last Dragon, and now you got to keep your eyes on Caps. You got to keep your eyes on the Lucian. He's stepping forward. BrokenBlade with a 2-level advantage. Caps only level 13. Dragon down to 3,000. Scuttlecraft now secured for Schalke. Gilius on that front line. Wunder with no ultimate. BrokenBlade going in with the further chase. There's Mikyx. There's the culling. There's the encore. They catch Gilius. Limit dives onto the back line, and Caps is immediately exhausted. Limit just about
Neon's
down.
getting resets.
Come the rest of Schalke. Neon getting excited, as I'm sure all the Royal Blue fans out there are as well. Schalke pick up 2 kills. They turn their eyes back towards the Cloud Dragon. They have the Baron. The question is, will G2 fight for this? You can see BrokenBlade backing away. It looks like G2 have given that up. They're not going to go for the Drake steal.
It feels like there's just such a huge damage difference between the two teams. Schalke's composition is so straightforward. You play front to back, you keep the long-range carries in the back line, and you keep your tanks in the front line. And even though a really good engage comes out from Mikyx, look at the follow-up that comes through from G2. These traps alone are stopping Caps from really getting involved in the fight, and the engage looks good. But then the ultimate goes wide, Caps throws out a culling, and while they do get onto Limit, who just, like, it's like a 2 versus 4 in the back line, while Neon and Abbedagge can just clean up.
Yeah, Neon gets the resets. He starts running forwards. Abbedagge can join the fight. And the crucial thing is, BrokenBlade even used his ultimate before the fight started, and he was able to live through the damage that G2 put on him. So when he has the ultimate, now he has 2 items completed. He has to play the steel caps. When he gets in the back line, the G2 have enough to deal with the front line that Schalke have. Even though it's not too much front line, they have so much damage as well. Yep. So G2 always have to peel back. One member will go in, and if Mikyx goes in and Neon gets a reset, then he's running forwards with the 3 items, with the Hurricane. He's going to shred all of G2. G2 are almost like backs against the wall here. If you're a Schalke fan, you should definitely be getting excited here, because the longer this game goes on, the more chances Schalke have. They're already ahead. The gold difference, you can see the skyrocketing gold difference from the Baron. Jankos steals away the red buff from Neon.
Look at the difference in levels. 14 to 15 top, 12 to 13 jungle, 13 to 14 mid. There are level advantages everywhere across the board for Schalke, and it's only going to get stronger as the game continues and Schalke continue to find these leads.
Yeah, Neon on this Jinx, 6-1 and 3, 9 out of 10 kill participation, and he has 3 items on the Jinx. Yes, G2 have a lot of frontline, but do they have the damage to take him down? He has the flash up. We'll have to see how they approach it, but the key thing is Mikyx doesn't have flash, and Limit does, and we've seen what Limit can do with his flash.
Spring 2020 In the first round, G2 are knocked out by Mad Lions. G2 fight through the losers bracket and a win. Summer 2020, G2 are knocked out. They'll fight through the losers bracket and win. The question is this another one of those? Will they have to fight through the losers bracket and win once again? Because right now, Schalke are on the precipice of a glorious victory.
Reverse sweep, even.
Yeah.
G2 was 2-0 up in the series. They were having fun in the second game. They were drifting around. They thought the series was over. Schalke have stepped up so much and adapted so well in this series.
They certainly have. And remember that if G2 lose, they will not go against Fnatic. They are the highest seed, which means that the loser of tomorrow's match will go against Fnatic as the engage comes from G2.
Neon flashes away. Here comes Limit with the Magnet Storm. Stormbringer used by Jankos to try and get away. The encore lands onto Neon as well, but the rest of G2 cannot follow up. Caps isn't even here yet. BrokenBlade stepping in. Jankos pulled back. Mikyx goes in with the body slam, but can't quite land it. And Schalke are able to reset the fight. G2 were the ones who engaged. Schalke able just to stop them in their tracks.
Yeah, I think the whole idea from G2 there was to blow Neon Summoners. Now they've got them. Now when the next engage happens, Wunder has flash, Jankos has flash, Mikyx has flash, Drake's in 2 minutes. They're all going to be flashing on Neon. The whole idea behind that play was to get Neon's summoner spells.
Oh my word. Neon is just going to be like, guys, so they have Volibear, they have Gragas, they have Sion, and they all want to kill me.
Seraphine ult, Lucian culling as well. There's so much to dodge around.
So can you guys just, you know, stop them from killing me? And if we do, then we win the game. So that's going to be the biggest determining factor. 3 items now finished for Neon. The DPS is real on this carry. And all he has to do is dish out the damage.
Yeah, Mikyx just got his flash up. Jankos doesn't have the ult yet. Wunder will have it up soon. So Neon can't even be on the same screen as the enemy team's frontline. He needs to respect it and stay really, really far back. He needs to trust in Abbedagge, who has the Zhonya's. He has the flash. He should be able to deal with a lot of the brunt of the engage and dish out damage while Neon's trying to kite around and find an angle to get the damage out. But if these Schalke carries can get any DPS up, any uptime, I feel like G2, if one member falls and the reset comes out, they're running for the hills.
There's the issue with if you target Neon, Abbedagge is still alive. We've already seen him shuffle in and totally destroy a G2 team fight. If you kill Abbedagge, well, Neon's still alive. You have Limit there with the Magnet Storm as the front line. You've got BrokenBlade, who continues to rain hell upon G2.
Yeah, and we talked about it, right? This triple threat composition from Schalke. We talked about it before the game started. They need a split pushing top. They need a hyper scaling mid to clear waves. They need engage support, and Neon being this AD carry that's actually scaling so well. How they've adapted in the series is draft Jinx, draft scaling AD carries, draft Vayne, and then in the later the game goes on, if G2 makes mistakes and we can make the game even, we're already at a natural advantage with the champions we've drafted.
Schalke have everything they need to close out this series. They have the gold lead, they have the champions, they have the compositions. Everything is in their position and power. The Drake is spawning soon, the Baron is about to be up. There's a top wave that they need to answer as the TP comes in.
TP coming in here from Schalke. We'll see if they go for the immediate engage. Caps is on their front line. Jankos looking for a flank position. Sundisk used as well. Schalke just holding the line, getting the mid-wave priority as much as they can. Gilius running forward. Wunder there as well. There's the root. Wunder pulled back with the Infernal Chains. Gilius still stepping in. Schalke going to push up towards the Baron. You can see Rekkles trying to speed up. Caps going to start up the Cloud Drake himself. The rest of Schalke going up towards this Baron as the battle lines are drawn. As you say it, Caedrel, this is a risk. This is a flip. This is a 50-50 play. And with how Smite fights have gone so far this series, I'm not sure who's going to win. Caps TPs into the fight. Only a short range. That Baron down to 6,000. You can see the encore available Baron resets, and as we have a second here, I want to ask you guys, actually wait, Wunder, what's Wunder doing here? Looking for the Decimating Smash, just trying to slow Schalke in their tracks. As we have a second, I want to ask you all, who will win? Will G2 take it? Will Schalke take it? Who is going in to that upper bracket final? Answer in chat right now, G2 or S04? We'll bring that up in a second, because right now, this game is on just a knife's edge.
Yeah, I like the decision from Schalke. Don't face check the Dragon Pit. It's only the 3rd Dragon. Neon doesn't have flash. Let's wait. Let's be patient. They've been patient the whole series long. There's no real reason to rush this fight. So they dropped the Dragon. They tried to get a Baron for it. They forced Caps' TP. That's about it. Let's get out. BrokenBlade was chunked out. We don't want to risk it. We don't want to lose the game on just one bad call. So look at Neon. Just picked up the BF sword, building towards that Infinity Edge. The longer the game goes on, we've said it so many times, Neon will just get stronger and stronger and stronger, and so will Abbedagge. Caps 3 items, Neon almost 4, and his flash is coming back up soon. So can Neon dodge away from this triple engage, quadruple engage with the Seraphine ult from G2, duck and dive around, get a reset, and then win the game for his team alongside Abbedagge?
Well, we'll see, Caedrel. We'll see Oh, that's a lot closer than I thought it would be. G2, 4-time back-to-back champions with only 52% of your faith. Only 51% of you believe in your reigning champion. Schalke performed the miracle run last summer. Now looking for a miracle on a Saturday as G2 are 2-2, about to be reverse swept, perhaps.
Yeah, and a small thing to tie in here, like we talk about Vedius at the start of the game, the farming jungler versus the ganking jungler. Now the exponential growth is paid off. Gilius is 2 levels up on Jankos. Yes, it's not a big deal because they're frontliners, but that's the concept, right? This is why the farming junglers are stronger, because naturally when you're higher level, you're stronger as a champion. So that's why the farming junglers are favored. Yes, Jankos got some plays off, and you have to argue that the throw did come in on that mid-tier 2, but this is the stability of having a farming jungler. He's always going to be up in levels or at least even.
What's crazy is...
Oh, here we go.
On.
Thundering Smash. Abbedagge is going to jump across the wall, so is Limit. Good little escape there, and it's a problem without, you know, instantaneous CC. Abbedagge and Limit can just jump away.
I wonder if Schalke's waiting for the 4th item on Neon. The Infinity Edge would be a massive spike.
Yeah, I mean, why not? You know? Like, is G2 really going to try and force something right now? They have Soul Point for the Cloud. A valuable one, I do believe, when you consider how important the ultimates are for G2's composition. And the bonus movement speed that they would get, it just makes diving onto that backline that much easier. But... oh man, what's crazy is all the eggs fall on the Caps basket. He's level 16. He does have his 3rd item completed. He's likely working towards the 4th one next. I'm curious as to what he's actually going to go for next. I imagine Infinity Edge may very well be in his item list as well. But we've said it, this game is only going to get harder. Schalke, they just need one really good fight, and they can just use that to end the game and move on to the upper bracket final.
Who would have thought coming into today that Schalke would be ahead in Game 5 against G2? Ahead in levels, a better draft in the late game, and G2 are the ones who have to find their way to get back into this game, because Schalke have had control since that one dive in mid that G2 went for, and Schalke are poised in this Game 5. They're in a good position. They need to execute the fights well, but G2 are G2, right? Yep. You can never give them an inch. You can never give them a window of opportunity, because when they take that opportunity, you fall down.
But history suggests that in the upper bracket, they tend to lose in these situations. They lost to Mad Lions, they've lost to Fnatic, and they've always had to make their way into the final via the losers bracket. If anything, that is their comfort zone. And here in Game 5, perhaps they can buck the trend and get a win here against Schalke.
I will also say, when you hear G2 is G2, you think Rekkles can carry, Jankos can carry, Wunder can carry, Caps can carry, Mikyx can carry, and then I look at this draft and I say, well, Caps can carry. No one else on this draft really has that individual carry ability. It's a neutered G2, so it's all on Caps. And yes, the rest of the team can facilitate him. And yes, perhaps we'll see a pop-off play from someone that really sets up a team fight, but it's all on Caps. Keep your eyes on that Lucian as the Dragon comes up in about 30 seconds time. Currently he's in top lane, he's resetting. Red buff going to be given over here to G2. Jankos clearing out vision around the Baron pit. And we'll try and get that Scuttle Crab for himself as well. Caps TP's into the play. Midway priority for Schalke. They put up the Sun Disc, the Dragon up in 20 seconds time. No soul for them as of yet. It will be their 3rd Dragon if they take it. If G2 somehow manage to secure it, they will get the soul. Mikyx looking for a flank position, but he is standing on a wall. The Sun Disc is about to fall. And now Schalke just back away with that mid lane prio, can continue to clear out this river. 4 seconds on the Dragon.
Yeah, it's all about the mid lane prio. If you can get the push, you can get into the river first. G2 want to contest it. They have a lot of shields from the Sion, from the Seraphine. Schalke have given up the wave, but they're starting up the Drake. Neon's going to get it, I think.
Yeah, Neon can just solo this out. 3 Dragons apiece. Jankos going in with a Thundering Smash. Gilius looking for the engage option. It's Mikyx. Flashes in. The Zap connects as well. Mikyx has to flash away. Decimating Smash not going to do too much, but there's the culling. Knocks Neon. Gilius knocked away with the explosive cast as well. And you can see the dive in, but the Encore lands onto Limit, and he's already dead. Decimating Smash flashed away by BrokenBlade. Now G2 reset alive for a second. Neon doing as much work as he can. Abbedagge still alive on towards the bottom side. Neon down to about 3rd HP. Jankos trying to dive in. Mikyx not quite able to connect on Abbedagge, and Neon is still alive. So is BrokenBlade, so is Gilius, and so are the hopes perhaps for Schalke to win this game. Abbedagge getting chased off towards the bottom side. Neon really can't join the fight. Mikyx down. Now goes Caps in. BrokenBlade down as well. G2 pushing 3 members strong in the mid lane. Caps trying to get chased onto Abbedagge here, but he can't get the damage down. Abbedagge's trying to turn it around, but meanwhile, the mid lane inhibitor tower is falling. G2 will take the turret. They'll back away immediately. Now Abbedagge has to run for the hills by himself. Are there any TPs available for G2? Wunder has one. Abbedagge is going to back. Wunder does not TP to the fight. Caps going to dash over the wall. He spots him. Abbedagge now in the wrong position at the wrong time. The rest of G2 on the chase.
I think he's out.
And he's going to TP out because Wunder was TPing to the bottom lane. Abbedagge TP is out.
But that does cost the TP from Wunder, and look, the Baron is up and available. BrokenBlade doesn't have TP though, but what I'm curious is, can we find out how much healing Rekkles did in that fight? Because that's all I could think of. It's the one thing we have not really talked about in this game. Seraphine's utility and support in these fights is crucial. When you have so many tanks and you have so much damage that she's just kind of dishing out, she's going to consistently heal a lot. Maybe we can keep an eye on it in this fight.
Yeah, as we watch this fight again, Gilius was the one to pull the trigger, and I think the engage was good because forcing Mikyx to flash out gives Neon more room to breathe, but he gets knocked away. And from there, the damage is coming out. Limit gets a decent engage, you would say, but the health bars don't fall. The Seraphine is keeping everyone alive. It was a redemption, and the healing coming through from the Moonstone as well kept all of G2 alive, and they were able to chase forwards. Schalke didn't have the damage. And Neon was forced to use both summoners. Abbedagge had to flash away as well, so everyone was blowing every summoner in this fight. Baron is still up though, crucially. G2, yes, they won the fight, but all they got was a mid-tier 3. So the game is still as even as it was before the fight.
The thing that I think fell apart for Schalke is that Limit went in, and then there was no way for them to really follow up. BrokenBlade did try to, but he wasn't really in a great position, and the amount of utility that came out from G2 made it so difficult. You chuck all the shielding and the healing on top of that, and you can see how difficult it can be. Schalke's late game comp does have obviously a lot of strength and a lot of damage, but it seems like that it's not as clear-cut as perhaps we initially thought it was.
Rekkles has done 6,500 healing with the Moonstone so far this game, and that is a low number for a Seraphine, I'm going to be honest. Usually you're getting up towards that 10, 11,000 mark. He now has 3 stacks on a Medjai Soul Stealer that he's built. He is full items, and if these fights go long, if these fights continue on after that initial burst, after that initial DPS, G2 can win out because of the healing. The redemption there was as well for Rekkles. Gilius going to clear out the pit as once again the battle lines are drawn here between G2 and Schalke. Gold basically even. Dragons 3 apiece. Kills doesn't matter. 6 towers to 3.
It's such a good game 5, man.
Oh my God.
And you're completely right. You're completely right, mate. The longer the fight goes on, the more favored G2 is because of the Seraphine. But one single kill and Neon gets a reset. Schalke can start running forwards. I think G2, it's lights out. But if they stay together, they can win the fights. Wunder's going to get a knock up here. They're grouped up as 5. Caps is ready to fight.
Calling on to Gilius. Wunder able to chase Gilius out. He's down to 1,000 HP, and there's no healing for Gilius. This is the thing. You haven't got a Seraphine. You haven't got all of that extra healing for your jungler. Once again, the front line, Limit doesn't have flash either. Goes in with the Magnet Storm, they look for Wunder. Explosive Cast going to knock 2 of them back, and look at Wunder. He's just healed up once again, and Limit's already dead. Rekkles takes the kill. The Encore has already been used. G2 might turn back towards the Baron. Abbedagge putting some damage down onto Mikyx. BrokenBlade dashes across the wall.
Oh, the healing.
Infernal Chains dodged away from Mikyx. Thundering Smash available for Jankos. Doesn't have the flash, though, so can't go any further. Schalke able to hold onto the line for the moment. 5 members strong. G2.
The healing!
900 healing on Wunder right there. And Abbedagge, you just can't get through it. You just can't chip it away quickly enough because Rekkles continuously bolsters his team, heals them up, and now G2 full HP will turn back towards the Baron.
The redemption is starting to come off cooldown as well, and that's all G2 really need is they get that initial pick, they use numbers advantage, and then they sustain back up, and what can Schalke do? They cannot get their straightforward front-to-back composition.
Jinx rocket steal.
Stolen it before.
Wunder's trying to stand in the way. Wunder blocks it. That would have been close if it had been able to get in there. Now Wunder can turn and burn if he wants, has the unstoppable onslaught.
10 seconds on Dragon.
As you say, Caedrel, 10 seconds on the Cloud Soul, and imagine another Encore, imagine another Stormbringer. G2 looking for those ultimates if they can get them. Abbedagge has respawned, has the TP, and you have to feel that Schalke wants to take this fight. Feels that we are on a precipice. It feels like, well, Schalke decide they don't want it. Cloud Soul secured now for G2.
I feel like perhaps I was wrong even. G2's late game is so strong when they're grouped up as 5. I think maybe I was wrong here. Schalke have such long range and so much damage, but they can't actually deal damage because of the amount of healing coming out of G2. I'm confident if Neon gets a reset, they can start to win the fight, but G2 are grouping up and they're keeping each member alive. They're staying as a unit.
Where's the healing reduction though? Where's the Oblivion Orb? Where's the Executioner's calling?
I mean,
like, you have 1 Thornmail and Executioners on BrokenBlade, and Limit's got a Bramble Vest, but
you need more.
Give me an Oblivion Orb on Abbedagge, and that healing is cut by 60%.
So, the one thing I will say is that, like, the last 2 fights have just not been well executed by Schalke.
Yeah.
Like, the very first fight was Limit getting separated from the rest of his team. The second fight was actually just Gilius losing all of his HP before the fight even started.
True.
And so a part of me sits there and goes, on the one hand, I'm starting to be convinced that yes, G2 do actually have a very strong scaling comp, but on the other hand, I don't think we've actually seen a very strong engage from Schalke.
Yep.
But maybe that's just the limit of their composition against this. How do you engage onto 3 tanks?
I'll
That is
steal the
epic.
red again in the same emote. Jankos. No, but you're completely right. But Neon is sitting on 6 items on this Jinx. The GA is going to help him against this sort of dive comp from G2, but I feel like they're not really diving anymore. They're just staying as a group, and they're using their chain CC, and Caps is dashing around. It's pretty much impossible to get to Caps at this point. Rekkles is keeping him alive, and all the frontliners are ahead of him. Rekkles even has the heal, the ult, all this peel, and Rekkles, Caps can dash out. He has a stopwatch flash, everything. So G2 sieging onto this top tower. 40 minutes into the game, they have Baron, they have Cloud Soul. Schalke need to mount a defense.
Limit has to perfect engage something. Like, you can see all of the flank wards are positioned for G2, and Caps can just stand at the back of it.
Look at his
joins the
items.
fight. Double cannon minions pushing in here. They're looking for this inhibitor tower. G2 have held on to the 41-minute mark. Schalke put up a fight, but right now, G2 are the ones knocking on the series win, looking to get into that upper bracket and fight either Rogue or Mad Lions, depending on tomorrow's results. Schalke really can't step forward. That inhibitor tower already down to Culling.
Oh my lord.
Ripping through BrokenBlade, and now Wunder on the front. The encore goes a little bit wide, but the inhibitor tower's fallen. Schalke reset. You've got one last fight. You've got one last moment, one opportunity to find your shot, to find your mark, because right now G2 are just walking through your base, and G2 want to do this one by the numbers. They're going pushing mid, maybe can even grab the bot wave and push that in as well.
Wow. Okay, well, G2 are just executing this beautifully, and like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, how does Schalke engage? Like, all they've got is the Rell. Like, maybe they can have a BrokenBlade flank, but the reality is that it's up to G2 to decide when the fight starts.
Exactly.
And even if you try to engage onto them, the amount of disengage they actually have with things like the Gragas ultimate, the Seraphine ultimate, is just ridiculous. So, like, yeah, Caedrel, I think we were wrong in our interpretation of the comps, and I think that G2's at a point. I thought they were going to struggle the longer this game went on, but it turns out they were the team that was scaling up. They were the team that was getting this Seraphine to a point where they now have an unkillable comp. It's like 4 bodyguards and protect the president, and like Caps just can't be killed.
And look at Juggermore.
Look at Caps' items as well. He's 6 items on this Lucian. He can dash and dive around, and Schalke don't have that much frontline. Late game Lucian is strong, but other AD carries are naturally stronger, but against no frontline, with this much support around you, you can do whatever you want in these fights. The Oblivion Orb was picked up by Abbedagge Medic. I think he heard you there. Decided to pick it up, got the Oblivion Orb.
I hope not, the pink noise not doing its job, but one last inhibitor tower, one last inhibitor here for Schalke, one last sally into the breach as Neon gets culled to half its HP. Wunder tanks the tower for a year, the charm comes out and is all on limit. He's already dead before he can even join the fray. No flash burn, no Magna Storm, shut down. I'm sorry, but did you have some DPS, Schalke? Because it looks like you're the ones getting DPS down. G2, you took your darn time about it, but in the end, Caps will pick up the triple. Caps will pick up the quadra, and they will take the final inhibitor. It was back and forth for a few moments. Schalke held a reverse sweep in their hands, but G2 shut the damn door in their face. G2 will go through to the upper bracket.
What a series, huh?
What a series.
Schalke taking G2 to the wire, but wow, that late game comp was unstoppable.
Yep. Turns out if you just put Seraphine in a comp, suddenly you have a really strong late game.
With lots of frontline and one mid lane AD carry.
Oh, wow.
Flawless execution from G2.
Of course, Wunder just left.
He's gonna rage.
Look, Wunder bow for the Poros, okay? They came all this way. One of them's from New Zealand. I talked to him earlier. Great guy.
Oh, wow. What a great series. Schalke showcasing that they have so much in the tank.
Yep.
They are going to be a threat in this playoffs because they are the lowest seed. They will be playing Fnatic next week. And the loser of that will be knocked out.
Yeah, but this was a great showing from
That
Schalke,
was so good. Yeah, I mean, Fnatic, like, it's going to be a tough series.
What I love about this series from Schalke as well was it wasn't like a bunch of cheese picks, right? They picked the Darius, that was like the most inventive pick, but it was not like, oh, if you just ban this champion against them, then they can't win games. The G2 banned consistently, switched up their bans, and Schalke just outplayed them at times.
Yeah, and the adaptation from Schalke was flawless. Things like the Jinx, the Vayne was really, really helping them win these games, and I think the G2's response in the Seraphine was pretty much the best answer you could do. Let's give Caps all the baskets, let's put all the eggs in the Caps basket, let's pick the Seraphine, full front line, and we should do well in the late game, and they bloody well did.
Yeah, it was a really fun series to watch. Huge props to Schalke. Like, Limit had a phenomenal series.
Yeah.
He was so good, and as you rightly said, last game, Caedrel, everyone did step up, but for me, he was that standout. He was making so many clutch plays, and I think that taking the Alistar away from him is something that all teams are going to have to do, because in his hands, he is just a monster on that champion.
What a series. I'll be honest, no, just not. Didn't expect this in any way, shape, or form. Did not expect this in any way, shape, or form. What an incredible Saturday of League of Legends. Of course, we have more tomorrow as Rogue take on Mad Lions. Your clear player of the series, vote at LEC on Twitter. Wunder, Caps, and Rekkles. One of them.
One of them. Wunder was on tank duty today.
Yeah, Wunder did, like, he played 5 Sion games, or 4 Sion games and something else.
And a Gnar.
And a Gnar, yeah. Don't give it to Wunder, guys. We don't want to support that sort of mentality. Yeah, give it to whoever you want. Anyway, we'll soon hear from Rekkles before Jankos and Grabs join us in the post-game lobby. Don't go anywhere, guys.
We're going to take a break.
Yeah, we will. Woo!
They are out there, waiting to be discovered. Some of them are big, and some of them are small. But that's the thing with ideas. They don't just come to you. To find them, you have to move. Kia, movement that inspires.
welcome back to the LEC after this crazy day of playoffs. Rekkles, thank you so much for joining me. Congrats on winning today. Let's talk about this series because they made you sweat hard. What made it difficult against Schalke? And what can you tell me about the way they performed today?
I think our difficulties today lied with just how we play together as a team. I think we did well for the most part in the early game, and we had, I guess in general, just decent early games, laning and everything. But when it came to like how we played for Drakes later and Baron and stuff, I feel like they just actually kind of did better than us. So I guess that's where they, to me at least, had like an edge, basically.
They come up with new picks. I also want to mention the Darius because I'm wondering, did you expect them to play this champion? And why did it take so long for you guys to ban it out?
So going into the series, we knew they weren't really a team to play tank tops like most other teams. But obviously the Darius was kind of new. I guess we saw Adam play it in the French league. Was that yesterday or the day before yesterday?
2 days ago. Yeah.
2 days ago, yeah. But other than that, we haven't seen it. So it was kind of new, and I think we maybe just didn't realize how strong it was until later on in the series. Just how like easy it is for him to get stacks on the tanks and then snowball it on our carries. So took us too long, probably.
Yeah, it's never a nice thing when you have a Darius dunking on you, especially as an ADC. But okay, talking about the last draft, you banned out the Darius finally. You guys picked Seraphine, leaving the AD mid for caps. You had 32,000 healing that game. Tell me about this comp and also playing Seraphine, because I remember you didn't like AP carries so much back then.
I guess I still don't really like AP carries, but I feel like when we play an AD carry in mid already, it's nice to not have another one bot. I feel like I just have to take the role as the mid laner in that game, and to me, playing a more supportive champion rather than like another carry champion is better for the team. And then obviously Seraphine is also like really strong. It's a better Soraka or whatever I was trying to pull off last year, so later on in the game, we could just play around my W, I guess my redemption, so to speak. So I think it just brings like sort of help to Lucian so that he can carry. Because I feel like if I played another AD carry, he wouldn't be able to do so. Or if I played another AP carry, he wouldn't be able to do so either.
I mean, and you had to adapt, and you did it really well. But did you expect that Schalke would ban so many AD carries throughout the whole series? I mean, you even had to play Sivir, which is not ideal, I guess.
So for the Sivir, I already apologized to my team, but I think I should probably not do that again. I really like the champ, so I want to play it, but it's not strong enough, sadly. I don't think, even with so many bans, I had to go to the Sivir. As you can see in game 2, there's still the likes of Ashe and Jhin that I could play easily, so the Sivir for sure was a mistake, but I guess I didn't really expect them to ban so many AD carries after like Senna and Tristana. I think for us, Senna is like a really specifically strong pick, which other teams don't really play. And Tristana is just generally good right now in the meta as a flex pick as well. So those two, to me, were to be expected, but them like banning 2 AD carries almost every 4-5 was a bit weird. I guess that's also coming into play then with the Darius, because normally teams then would ban like Sion, for example, for top, but they kind of wanted us to play Sion, I think, for the Darius. So maybe that's why they could put so many AD bans. But in all honesty, I shouldn't have a problem with it. I just wanted to play Sivir.
You wanted to play Sivir. You got your Sivir game. It is out now. A quick question about this, because you insisted on playing the champion. How often do you maybe change the draft plan just because you feel like you want to play something? How free are you?
I think it happens mostly in 4-5 rather than first 3. I feel like usually first 3 we have kind of everything planned out, but when it comes to 4-5, you try to pick more for maybe what your comp wants to do or what enemy comp is bad against. Normally, Sivir could be a good pick, but in this case, when I pick Jinx, I can't really lane, so I should go for a longer range AD carry. But mostly in the 4-5 is when I think you can spice it up more, sort of how we could spice it up with like the Ashe Braum in game 2, for example. It's something you could never pick 2-3, or would probably never plan to pick 2-3. But in the 4-5, that makes a lot of sense because it can counter like their entire comp, which I think Braum does in that scenario, for example.
Right. That makes sense. Now, I'm sorry about the viewers. I know that I'm going to ask this a lot this weekend, but we have you guys back on stage in the studio. I know you're a stage player. How did it feel to play with the guys on stage for the first time?
Honestly, I've missed this feeling a lot. It's just been amazing to be back here today, having such a fun series to play. Even if we would have lost, of course, it would have felt terrible in the moment, but just the atmosphere here is completely different. It makes it really feel like what you do is something great. It makes it feel like being a pro player is super great. So I'm yeah, I'm just happy that I can be a part of something like this.
We could hear Jankos from backstage. I don't know if you know that. That was really funny. It's really good to have you guys back and you back also, Rekkles. Last question before I send it to PGL. You will face off against whoever wins tomorrow, either Mad Lions or Rogue. Who do you think is going to win and why?
So we've been scrimming mostly both of them up until today. And I guess scrims are still scrims, so you can't say for sure. But before these 2 weeks of practice, I would have said Rogue every case. But I actually think Mad were quite impressive in scrims these last 2 weeks, and they seem to have come together over the whole spring split. Like in the beginning, they were a bit shaky, but even towards the end, they still finished third, I think, and they actually had a lot of good games. So I don't think it's as clear-cut as it would have been a couple of weeks ago, maybe. And for us, I guess, regardless of who we're playing, it's still going to be a tough game, as you could see today, even with Schalke. So it shouldn't matter. We just have to focus on ourselves, make sure we're in good shape and ready for the bangers, you know, like 5 games, have the mental there and everything. So yeah, just exciting to get to play more games on stage, I guess.
Give us the bangers. That's all we want as viewers. But Rekkles, thank you so much for joining me today. Congrats on getting to stage 2 of playoffs.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week. And we're going to take one last break and we'll be back in a few minutes for PGL with Grabs and Jankos. Stay tuned, guys.